Hi everyone, I'm Doug from DigiPen in Redmond. In this video, we'll make things more difficult and engaging by enabling the enemy to attack. It's about time we finally let the enemies fight back in Scratch Invaders. The hero's bullets can hit them wherever they are, so we should give them something with the same reach. This means we'll be making an enemy bullet, so we'll need a new sprite. You can look through the sprite library if you like, but just for inspiration if anything. To help maintain a strong theme, you should create your own sprite costume. What will you make? Consider the other parts of your game's theme and think about what the enemy might shoot. This crab monster might shoot some kind of bubble-based projectile, or maybe they can detach their claws and throw them. If you can't think of something that fits, a simple abstract shape works with just about any theme. The enemy's bullet will behave a lot like the hero's. It will move itself to the enemy that shot it and then cruise downward. And, of course, we'll need to make sure the hero has code for reacting to being hit. Let's improve Scratch Invaders by giving the enemy a bullet attack. Load what you've already done in that project, or visit the link in the description below, and then click the See Inside button. We'll begin by creating a new sprite for the enemy's bullet. This new sprite's behavior will be so similar to the existing bullet sprite that we can actually duplicate that one. In the sprite pane, right-click the bullet sprite and choose to duplicate it. Change the new sprite's name to Enemy Bullet, then click the Show button here. You can see that this new sprite looks identical to the hero's bullet, and we don't necessarily want that, so let's give it a new look. Click the Costumes tab at the top. The enemy's bullet sprite will become another piece of the game's theme, so time spent here is well spent. For now, though, a simple shape is good enough. We'll begin by deleting everything in this costume with the Delete button, and then we'll use the Circle tool to create the bullet. While it's still selected, you can adjust its fill color, and outline thickness. When you're satisfied, click the Code tab at the top to move on. Recall how shooting works with the hero. When the player presses the Fire key, the hero sprite broadcasts the Hero Shot event. The bullet sprite then receives that event and goes into action. This will work the same way. When an enemy is ready to shoot, they'll broadcast an event of their own, and the new enemy bullet sprite will receive it and get to work. Let's go through the code in this new sprite step by step, making the necessary changes as we go. First, when the game starts, the Initialize function is called. Find the Initialize function in the code area. Drag the top Set block away from the Define block and drop it in the block palette to delete it. We'll be using this function to initialize some new variables soon enough, but for now, let's move on. Next, find the When I Receive block in the code area over here. The enemy will shoot with an event of its own, so let's make that now. Click the event list in the When I Receive block and select New Message. Type the name Enemy Shot, and then click OK. When the enemy bullet receives the enemy shot event, it will create a clone of itself. Then the new clone calls the clone startup function, and then, in a forever loop, it repeatedly calls handle movement and boundary check. Find the clone startup function. The hero's bullet goes to the position of the hero as soon as it is fired. This works because there is only one hero. We can't use this same approach with the enemy's bullet, though, because there are multiple enemies, and we have no way of selecting a clone from this list. We'll have to do this in another way. Select the enemy sprite in the sprite pane. We need to create a pair of variables to store the x and y positions of the enemy that wants to shoot a bullet. The bullet can then go to that position after it is created, and it will appear to be fired by the enemy that shot it. Click the orange Variables category on the left, and then click the Make a Variable button. For these two variables, it is important not to use the For This Sprite Only option. Name the first variable Enemy Bullet X. Keep the For All Sprites option selected, and click OK. Click the Make a Variable button again, and name the second variable Enemy Bullet Y. Now we'll make a shoot function for the enemy. Click the pink My Blocks category, and then click the Make a Block button. Name the new function Shoot. Then click the orange Variables category and find the Set block. Add 2 copies of it to the Shoot function. Select the variable Enemy Bullet X in the variable list of one of them, and select Enemy Bullet Y in the other. We want to set these variables to the x and y position of this clone, so click the medium blue Motion category and find the x position and y position reporter blocks. Drag and drop the x block into the Enemy Bullet X set block, and put the y block in the other set block. After setting these variables, it's time to broadcast our new event. Click the light yellow Events category and find the first Broadcast block. Add it to the body of the Shoot function, and make sure that Enemy Shot is selected from its list. Now click the Enemy Bullet sprite in the sprite pane. Find the Clone Startup function again. Remove the GoTo block from it. Drag the Show block away from it and reattach it to the Define block. Drag and drop the GoTo block onto the block palette to delete it. Now click the medium blue Motion category and find the second GoTo block. Add it to the body of the Clone Startup function. Click the orange Variables category and find the Enemy Bullet X and Enemy Bullet Y reporter blocks. Drag and drop the X block into the left value field in the GoTo block, and put the Y block in the right value field. Find the Handle Movement function. It's currently using the Move block to move the sprite. Let's use Velocity instead. Normally, for any sprite that moves this way, we'd give it both an X and a Y velocity for horizontal and vertical movement. The enemy bullets, however, will only move vertically, so we don't need to bother with an X velocity. This will simplify things a little bit. Click the Make a Variable button. Name the variable Y velocity and select the For This Sprite Only option. Add a set block to the body of the Clone Startup function and select Y velocity from its variable list. How fast should the enemy's bullets go? Let's make them go slower than the hero's bullets. In the value field of the set block, type the number -8. It's negative because the bullet should move down the screen, and a negative Y velocity means downward movement. Return to the Handle Movement function. Remove the Move block from it and drop it on the block palette to delete it. Click the medium blue Motion category and find the Change Y block. Add it to the body of the Handle Movement function. Then click the orange Variables category and find the Y velocity reporter block. Put it in the value field of the Change Y block. Now find the Boundary Check function. The enemy bullet is not concerned with a top boundary, but it does need a bottom one. Click the Make a Variable button. Name the new variable Bullet Bottom Boundary. Add a set block to the Initialize function and select Bullet Bottom Boundary from its variable list. Recall that the top boundary is 180, so let's use the negation of that for the bottom. In the value field, type the number -180. Now, back in the Boundary Check function, We have a less than block where we want greater than instead. Click the green Operators category. Find the greater than block and drag it into the code area. Drag the Y position reporter block from the less than block and put it in the left value field of the greater than block. Right-click the bullet top boundary reporter block and select bullet bottom boundary. Now move it into the right value field of the greater than block. Drag the less than block out of the not block and drop it on the block palette to delete it. In its place, put the greater than block. Now the enemy bullet is almost complete. There's just one more thing we need to do to it. Click the Hide button here. The next thing to do is make it so that the enemy actually fires the bullet. Select the enemy sprite in the sprite pane. The basic idea here is that after each clone is created, it will wait a little while and then shoot, and repeat that again and again. Let's make this happen by adding a second When I Start as a Clone block. Click the gold Control category. Find the When I Start as a Clone block in the block palette and drag it into the code area. Then find the Forever block and attach it to the bottom of the When I Start as a Clone block that we just added. In here, we want to wait for a little while and then call the Shoot function. Find the Wait block in the block palette and attach it inside the mouth of the Forever block. The Wait block halts the execution of the current code stack for the number of seconds you put in its value field. How long should we wait between shots? Let's choose a random number. Click the green Operators category. Find the Pick Random block and put it in the value field of the Wait block. You can tweak the values in the Pick Random block later. Now we just need to call the Shoot function. Click the pink My Blocks category and find the Shoot block. Attach it to the bottom of the Wait block inside the mouth of the Forever block right here. Now we're done with the enemy. You can click the green flag to try it out, but you'll see that nothing happens when the hero is hit by an enemy bullet. Let's fix that. Select the Hero sprite in the sprite pane. This will be an easy fix. Find the Enemy Check function. Let's modify it so that it also checks for enemy bullets. Click the green Operators category. Find the OR block and drag it into the code area. Move the touching block from the if-then block to the left condition slot of the OR block. Then right-click the touching block and choose to duplicate it. Put the new copy in the right condition slot and select Enemy Bullet from its list. Finally, put the OR block in the condition slot of the if-then block. Now the Hit by Enemy function will be called if the hero hits an enemy or an enemy bullet. Now the enemy attack is complete. Click the green flag to try it out. When the hero is hit by an enemy bullet, they disappear. You can still move and shoot, but this is good enough for now. Let's recap what we've learned in this video. We set out to give the enemy a bullet attack. We considered the options for what to make it look like and noted that a basic shape fits well with almost any theme. Next, we duplicated the hero's bullet and modified it to work as the enemy bullet. Finally, we gave the enemy sprite the code it needs to shoot bullets at random intervals. In the next video, we'll consider how to balance the difficulty of Scratch invaders.